was the smartest guy in the world of basketball.
Is he worth the price of admission or what?
He is too much. Absolutely too much.
He was a basketball genius. He'd be a step ahead, a thought ahead, play the game like a chess game.
Over the shoulder!
I'd much rather guard Michael Jordan than Larry Bird because you have to play the game as a thinker when you're playing him. You have to get inside his mind. Larry wasn't quick, couldn't jump really high, but there was just some sleepless nights.
He felt control, like a conductor, like a maestro.
Now they clear aside for Larry. Fakes the Bird.
He passed it off the backboard to himself.
This guy was going to do one thing almost every night that really spun your head around.
Parrish. Bird to Vincent to Bird. Over the backboard! Oh! I don't believe it.
He was playing chess and everybody else was playing checkers. He was 3 moves ahead of everybody else. And you never knew what he was going to do, but you knew it was going to be something special.
Larry Bird was one of the biggest trash talkers in basketball. And a lot of people say, really? You know, they thought it was Reggie or Charles. Larry Bird talked more trash on the basketball court than anybody I've ever played against. And he told me 2 things one game. You know, our rotations, double teaming, Kevin McCale always had to rotate to the corner, and Larry Bird was the one shooting it. You know, so he shot one, and I mean, I'm trying to block this shot, and he would just tell me, Scott, you're a little too late. You know, a little too late. So we playing him. In the last play, he says to James Worthy, he says, you guys don't have to worry about it. I'm going to go right over there that corner. He said, they're going to set a screen for me. We're taking the ball out. He said, I'm going to curl right over. And he's telling us to play. He's telling us to play before they even take it out. He said, I'm going to go right over to that corner, and I'm going to catch it, and I'm going to shoot it, and I'm going to tie the game or win the game, whatever the case may be. They take the ball out, and I think it was either Danny or
DJ?
The late, great DJ.
Yeah.
Take the ball out, the man curl right to the corner, caught the shot a 3, game over.
He told me a story about Xavier McDaniel. He said,
the X-Man, yeah.
X, I'm going to get the ball right here. I'm going to shoot a jumper right in your face.
They called the timeout. He said, you know I'm going to get it. And I said, I know, I'm going to be waiting. And he said, I'm going to get it right here. I'm going to shoot it right in your face.
10 seconds. 5, and Bird has the basketball. Look out. Larry Bird, just phenomenal the way that
he came out when right about that exact spot and shot a shot right in my face. And, you know, he was like, I didn't mean to leave 2 seconds on the clock. He wanted to shoot it with 0 seconds on the clock. I walked back to the sideline.
And then he got the ball and shot it right in his face.
Yeah.
And Bird says to X, I told you I was going to do it.
I like your accent. I like it. That's pretty good. But that was Larry. I mean, Larry would just, and he was saying in such a calm way that you didn't think it was trash talking, but it's trash talking. You're not going to tell me you're going to go over there and shoot the ball in my face. That's trash talking. But he would tell you before the play even started. He just come out and say, you know, guys, you ain't got to worry. This is where the ball going. I'm going to catch it over here. And he would tell you to play and catch it over there and shoot it.
I get a charge when I tell somebody on the opposing team that I'm going to hit the last second shot and then do it. That's what it's all about.
Mark hit a 3-pointer on Larry Bird and said take a look at that. And Bird just came right back and hit three 3-pointers in a row and just basically said to him, and we all heard it, that you're out of your league.
Or he'd say, Danny, give me the ball, or DJ, give me the ball. I got this guy in the torture chamber down here. Why the guy was standing right there listening to him say it.
I was getting ready to start a game and get up to the jump ball, and Larry said, you know, just out of the blue, he goes, go ahead, Kevin, tell Elvin Hayes what you told me. And I didn't tell him anything. And I said, well, go ahead and tell him. Like, you said you were going to kick his ass. And I'm like, oh, man. And Elvin Hayes is looking at me. Well, at that point, it was hard to say, no, I didn't say anything. I said, I guess so. But, you know, Larry just got so started up. Larry is a funny guy.
The other thing I laugh about, too, is remember Anthony Mason, just the kind of the point forward, power guy, just big, strong guy. We're playing. He's in New Jersey now. They call him up and from the D League or the CBA or whatever it was called back then. And he's sitting out there, and man, that guy's like, you know, he's got, you know, muscles everywhere. So before the game, Larry looks at him. He goes, "Hey, Kevin." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Look at this guy, man." And he's standing there. He goes, "Look at all those muscles." Anthony Mason is just standing there kind of posing, and then Larry looks at him and goes, "Yeah, all those muscles aren't going to help you tonight." He said, "I'm going to bust you up." And Larry would shoot the ball and yell "muscles" when he was shooting it. And I just kind of laughed. Well, probably my favorite one was we were playing in Phoenix, and we were way up. We were like 15, and we have the worst fourth quarter in the history. We're terrible, and Larry's bad. Larry's missing shots, throwing it to the other team, throwing it in the third row, and they come back and somehow they go up 2. So we have a play, out of bounds play. I'm taking it out, and Larry says, "I'm going to bust off the play, and I'm just going to come out and I'm going to shoot a 3." And I'm like, "We're down 2." I'm like, "No, don't do that." I'm like, "Let's shoot a 2, please. Go to the hole, try to get fouled. Let's just get into overtime, see if we can't win this game." And Larry says, "No, I'm just going to bust a 3 on him." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So he tells the Phoenix bench, he tells the coaches, "Yeah, I'm just fixing to bust a 3 on you guys and just go home. I'm tired of this." And he gets the ball, jumps out, busts the play, comes out, gets the ball at the slot, shoots the ball. As the ball's in the air, he kind of turns towards the Phoenix bench and yells, "Told you so!" He stopped running to the locker room. And it went in, and I just started laughing. I was like, "Oh, man." It's just one of those ones where he just kind of, he has such supreme confidence, and it was just, but that's the one when you're back in and Larry went in and said, "Well, I won the game in the first 3 quarters, then I lost it in the third quarter, or the fourth quarter, excuse me. Then I won it at the end." He goes, "My record tonight is 2-1. We all just kind of laughed about it.
Larry Bird has always been a man who loves the game and plays because he enjoys it. And so in February 1986, the NBA season was kinda getting boring for Bird. The Celtics would go on to have a 67-15 record, and they were pretty much dominating. It's in the middle of a 9-game, 11-day road trip for the Celtics on February 14th against Clyde the Glide Drexler and the Trailblazers. And to keep things interesting, Bird addressed the media the day before, and in front of the whole world, he said, "Tomorrow night's the last game of the trip. I'm gonna play this one left-handed, at least through 3 quarters. Do you know how disrespectful you gotta be to say that you're gonna be playing with one hand, let alone your opposite hand?" He pretty much said that he doesn't even need to use his right hand to whoop the Trailblazers. Dang, man, Larry Bird is such a savage. But there's more motivation behind the trash talk. The Trailblazers were the only team to beat the Celtics on the Celtics home court that season. Bird had 20 points and 11 rebounds in that game, but he only shot 9 of 26 from the floor, and so there was much more than just keeping the game interesting. And because Bird said to the media, the whole world had listened, and the Trailblazers had heard this as well, and so they knew it was game on. So the game starts, and Larry Bird is already on his lefty wave. He starts out shooting floaters and making layups with his left hand. This man was straight up destroying their team. You could see Bird making an effort to use his left hand, pump faking with the right, and then finishing with the left. Even his assists and blocks are with the left hand.
And Larry told all of us players, and the media too, we were all standing around waiting to leave, he said, "Tomorrow night's the last game of the trip. I'm going to play this one left-handed at least through 3 quarters."
What a performance by Bird!
And at the end of 3 quarters, the next night in Portland against poor Jerome Kersey, he had 27 points left-handed, and it was a remarkable performance.
Eventually though, Bird wouldn't keep shooting with his left for 3 quarters and would just bang in deep jumpers. The Trailblazers were coming at him with everything they had, but it didn't matter. Bird just wanted to win this game and get revenge for the earlier game in the season. He would hit the game-winning shot and get the Celtics the dub by 1 point in overtime. Keep in mind that this Celtics team was without the injured Kevin McCale, who was their second best player, and so the entire Trailblazers team could focus on Bird. Larry Bird would end up with 47 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists in an overtime game. After the game, Larry Bird told the media, "I'm saving my right hand for the Lakers."
We had a 3-point contest at the All-Star break, and Larry walks in and says, "I hope all you guys in here are thinking about second place because I'm winning this." Excuse me? And he started shooting, and he just didn't miss.
Larry was the originator of getting in your face and talking trash. And then you sit there and you go, This guy up in my face talking noise. He ain't that fast. He's slow, but he knew how to aggravate you, agitate you enough to get you out of your game.
I remember the first time I played against Bird. I'll never forget this. Go to shake his hand. I'm a rookie. I'm playing against the Boston Celtics in the Boston Garden. I'm go shake, and Larry put both hands behind his back. He wouldn't shake my hand. I said, okay, he's just getting into the game. The first play of the game, he said, you don't even belong in the league, Holmes. And he shoots a 3. Now, I wasn't mad that he made the 3. But I said, there's some bitch just called me Holmes. and he came down and did it again, so I'm pissed, you know. So the next time down, see me on the breakneck pitch, and I jump up and I throw it down on him. I mean, he fouls me. And he said, hey, Rook, I like you. You got hot. He said, but I'm still getting 30 on your ass. I mean, that's who he was. But that was the only time he ever talked trash to me, because he respected me, because he knew that I was going to keep coming. That really taught me something, you know. If you wasn't prepared to play against guys like that, you got embarrassed.
I was guarding in my rookie year. He looked at me and he goes, you can't stop me. And I looked at him and I said, gosh, boy, you're so confident. He goes, confident? You're a rookie. You don't know anything. He proceeded to score like 10 straight points on me. The coach took me out the game. He walks by and he's laughing at me.
Larry Bird catches the ball in the corner. I take off running out at Larry Bird. And right when he's getting ready to shoot, I jump. And as I go by, him, he tells me, he says, fly, Bird. And I go right by him, and he shoots the ball. It's nothing but 9.
I remember the time when Larry got on the roll, started shooting the ball. Every shot was going in.
Goodbye, she's gone. I guess the 2-pointer was too close.
When he ran by the bench, he goes, that's a heat check. Just see how hot I am. All right, he runs by Frank Layden, who's the funniest guy in the league. And Frank is coaching, and Larry says to him, hey, Frank, don't you have anybody on that bench that can guard me? He goes, so nobody out here can. Frank looked down at the bench and goes, no.
He'll look at you like, hey, what you doing out here? You ready to call somebody else? I even heard him tell the coach, hey, look, coach, you better get somebody else out here to guard me because I'm killing this guy.
In last year's playoffs, Person was out to make Bird eat his words while adding a few choice comments of his own.
Chuck Person, he definitely has his reputation. During the playoffs, he just went AWOL, you know, and he just went to work.
You can see Bill playing a little Bird, giving it back to him kind.
Chuck Person can talk some trash to Larry Bird now. He scored the last 16 points.
Chuck and Larry down low, greeting one another once again.
Bird, he has caught fire.
Person.
And had something to say afterwards. And look at Bird. Person didn't dare look at him.
Yeah, it is a little special because I've known Chuck for a while and we've always had run-ins, but it always seems like I get the last word.
Everything's starting to fall into place. I hope you all realize this. We got Larry, 1 or 2 little moves, and we're ready to go.
Point Henderson right now. There's Bird again. Larry Bird with a steal. Henderson back to Bird.
McHale to Bird. Spins. Oh, what a shot.
What a great shot.
A cut to Bird. Swings through. Little reverse. Layup is good. How did he make it?
He was slow, but he leads the fast break. Couldn't jump. He'll come up with big-time rebounds. This is my game of passion, and I love it. And I'm going to do everything I can to win this game, to win any game.
Bird going to the floor for it. This game is Larry Bird.
Hale charged for it. He goes down. Larry Bird dives for a loose ball and gets it to McHale.
He's making passes or doing things with the ball. You say, well, how did he do that?
Bird is making all the passes. How about that?
Oh, he's amazing.
Quickly ahead to Bird. Behind the back move. Dumps it to Parrish. What a pass by Larry.
The rebound to Bird.
Look at that pass. Oh, what a show.
Great play.
Oh, show. Forget it.
He would just flick it or tap it or bounce it to a teammate without even catching it.
Bounce, Bird. Nice tip to McHale. As pretty as you ever want to see.
Pass to Bird. Behind the back to Parrish.
Larry dropping passes off left and right, and we were running up and down and scoring. It was basketball the way it was meant to be played.
Bird with the pass through the legs of Sigma.
He said, man, this is great. How great is this?
knocked away by Vincent. Bird gets it back. Saves it. Nice pass to Maxwell. Let's go, Larry Bird is putting on. Larry Bird follows his own shot. Oh, what a point.
I can remember one time he said, "You guys want to win the game?" And I said, "Sure. Yeah, absolutely." He goes, "Give me the ball and get out of the way."
Williams has it. Williams to Bird again. Up fakes. Fires another three-pointer. Oh! Ties it up!
I remember in particular one where I had to make a pass in from Phoenix. And the the Suns crowd was going wild.
Max looking, loops it to Bird, a runner. It's good! Good! And the Celtics win it!
As soon as Larry let it go, he virtually turns to the bench and was looking over like he should have had more than one guy on him.
DJ to make the inbound pass. They're double teaming Bird. Larry, fake, fall away. Hits it! All right!
You know if the game is close and they got the ball, or you don't have no cushion in terms of a lead, Larry Bird can win the game.
Bird pops out, gets it on the sideline, goes baseline, throws it up and Larry Bird did it again! He did it again!
He dreamed the game. He knew what was going on in everybody's mind.
5 seconds to go. Thomas wants to get it in quickly.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. What a play by Bird. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left.
And as I'm walking to the huddle, this is what I see. I'm walking to the huddle, stand up, Charles, and I see DJ do this. I mean, it wasn't no high five. It wasn't Isaiah dancing. It was like it was a love thing, you know, like they hugged and embraced. And I'm walking to the huddle, and they were our mentors. We studied them. They taught us everything, and they were great teachers. Not only were they great teachers, right, but they also, after they beat you, then they would school you.
He's my boy, and I tell you, we went through a lot of battles together, and we won a lot of games. We won a lot of games on his IQ and on his toughness. Right. That dude was one tough guy.
Bird fights Kareem, swings the elbow, and now is yelling at Larry Bird.
You could never back down.
Jaw to jaw.
Once you do, people look at you different. You had to stand up for everything you believed in, and even if it's the one playing basketball, if somebody took the gloves off and wanted to go, you had to go. If you didn't, there's no use playing.
No one more qualified to ask than you. The NBA's all-time leading scorer. You won 4 championships in high school, 3 in college, probably would have been 4 if freshmen could have played. 6 in the league and 6 MVPs. Who's the greatest basketball player of all time?
There's so many guys that you can put in there. You know, guys that have the versatility and leadership and skills.
MJ, Magic, Russell.
That's a diplomatic answer.
Yourself.
Okay. I was going to say.
You guys are Mount Rushmore. So you guys are untouchable.
In terms of skills, Larry Bird could do anything.
Larry's IQ and basketball competitiveness is, uncanny. Like Larry's ability to make tough shots, his shooting, his IQ is just, man, come on, man.
There was a certain confidence you had because, if you ever got in trouble, give the ball to Larry and get out of his way, and he delivered.
The double team and Bird. Larry, fake, fall away. Hits it at the buzzer! All right!
He was a cold-blooded killer. In the last 24 seconds, he would demand the basketball in the huddle.
Goes baseline, throws it up, and Larry Bird did it again! He did it again! Oh my goodness! He did it again!
Larry Bird was a pain in the neck. Anytime we had a chance to win, Larry Bird changed that.
Larry Bird follows his own shot. Oh,
Bird, listen, you can't say anything bad about Bird. He's one of the greatest ever.
But Bird didn't talk trash to you.
Bird talked trash to everybody.
Larry understood, what he understands as well as anybody is personalities and people. And that's why he would do his junk talking for airing here on radio, because he understood people who would let that bother them and what they would do when it bothered them. That's the way Larry, that was his gamesmanship.
But didn't he? Did he get to a point where he had respect for you?
I always tell this story about Larry Bird. I remember him. He was cursing under his breath
And I asked him, I said, Larry, what's going on with you? He says, you guys are being disrespectful to me. And I says, what are you talking about? He says, you guys are putting a white guy on me. That's disrespectful.
Wait, who's the white guy you put on him?
I can't remember who it was. I just started laughing. I had no comeback. He says, it's disrespectful when y'all put a white guy on me. And I'm sitting there like, I'm laughing in the middle of a game. He says,
you guys played the Chicago Bulls first round of the playoffs, and you guys went out. It might have been you and Roby, and you went out with Bird. And the Chicago Bull cheerleaders bought you beers, figuring that they could get Larry drunk. And then Larry lit him up and then walked off the floor and walked by the cheerleaders and said, thanks for the beers.
I didn't tell you the story, but the story is true. that is very typically Larry.
Okay. All right.
He knew right away. He knew what was happening. He knew right away what was happening. And again, okay, so we talk about motivation. For Larry, that's another motivation for him. So he could have that in his mind. So when he walked off the court, he could let you know, hey, you can do whatever you want. Doesn't make a difference to me.
I love that.
But that's Larry.
I got a pulled hamstring, so I'm not playing tonight. He walks down to me. Man, I'm sorry you're not playing. But he said, I'm going to tell you what. Since you're here, I'm going to put a show on for you. So you just sit back and watch, okay? And I'm like, man, get out of my face, man. I want to hear that. That's Celtics and the Lakers. Every time he hit one, he look at me.
Oh, man, Larry was so confident, so extremely confident.
Yeah, there it was.
He had unshakable confidence. If he could get his shot off, he felt like we was going to win the ball game.
And the Celtics win it.
As soon as Larry let it go, he virtually turns to the bench and he's looking over like, you should have had more than one guy on me.
Bird hits and the Celtics win it. The three-pointer by Larry Bird at the buzzer.
They needed 3 to win it, and I got to play Larry. So I'm down in the post knowing that he's going to come off of a pick. So I'm holding his jersey, and I'm doing everything I can to block his path, whatever I could do to stop him from getting an open shot.
Larry Bird with a big three-point bomb.
Once the shot was airborne, I just knew it was going in. That's the nightmare that you have when you know a player like Larry Bird has an opportunity to get a shot off.
That check's had my name on it for a week now, and I knew I was going to win this thing. I've been practicing. My teammates said I wasn't going to win it, but I came back and lucked out, really.
Larry is a funny guy. He makes fun of himself. He's self-deprecating.
Here he was out there with a quarter of black guys out there talking trash with him, and the rest of the fellas are sitting there going, hey, the boy bad, what can you say? And I think what America saw in this guy was somebody who really didn't see race.
I ran into him at the Hall of Fame about a month and a half ago. I said, Larry, you know something, man? So all these years competing and, we've known each other, we've never taken a picture. So we took our first picture together. That was special for me, Great athlete gonna give you a lot of oohs and ahs. Great basketball player gonna beat you every night. That's who Larry Bird was.